She's mediocre, really. Of all the okers, she's the meatiest.
You are like a earlobe. You're just there, just wobbling.
You stuck-up, half-witted, scruffy-looking nerve herder.
Dirt-eating piece of slime. You scum-sucking pig. You son of a motherless goat.
You are a sad, strange little man.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it.
Oh, right! To call you stupid would be an insult to stupid people!
You are a smelly pirate hooker.
You look like a blueberry.
It's the Sadie and Shawn Have No Friends podcast.
Why would you talk about yourself in that way? How negative.
It wasn't me that I'm talking about poorly. No one gives a shit about... I shouldn't say no one gives a shit about bowling because there's people that give a shit about bowling. I just feel like...
I thought of you because you were doing a bowling tournament over the weekend. I totally thought of you.
Well, that's nice of you. But I think that as far as like the interest in bowling goes, if you aren't involved in the sport of bowling, you probably don't care about the sport of bowling.
But I want to know what you did. How did you do? Because I did think about you. You got second place.
We got second place.
What do you win with second place?
Well, this one's kind of funny. It's a weird thing, and it's really hard to explain because it's a team tournament, and there's a lot of moving parts and different aspects that go into it. But we did really bad the first day and really good the second day, which is a better plan. You don't want to do as well the first day, and so we all ended up making just under $1,000 a piece. There's 5 of us on the team, so
look at you. I'm very proud. Congratulations.
Not a bad little weekend for sure.
Yeah. So
there was quite a few people though. The bowling alley. So there's 32 teams. And there's 5 people on each team, so that's 160 people. And there was quite a few people that came up to me throughout the weekend, and they were like, I kept thinking they would be like, I like your radio show. Nope, it was always, I like your podcast.
Oh, did anyone ask where I was at?
No, everyone knew where you were at. You make it pretty clear what you do.
They're like time. At home, right? You're like, I would assume so.
Right.
Are you done?
No. Still talking about bowling. I wasn't going to do it at all, but you're the one that brought it up. So
I'm sorry. You just keep taking these odd pauses, and I don't know when your story's over. Go.
I keep thinking you're going to talk.
So are you done with your story about bowling?
Well, there's one more piece of the story that probably was going to come up today, and that is if you follow the podcast and you listen often, you've heard us talk about thruples and this dude who's in a thruple, and he was there, and we ended up, because it's random which teams you bowl against. And yesterday we randomly bowled against his team. I thought maybe it could get awkward because I didn't want to bring it up. Like, I don't want him to feel forced to come on this podcast. So I didn't want to be like, so you didn't write me back, dude, you coming on or what? But
I know I have a hard time with that too.
One of the guys on his team who I know a lot better than him was like, he's coming on your podcast here soon, so don't beat up on him too bad. And we got kind of lucky because I've told you before, he's a really good bowler, and we got lucky and we beat them. And so now he probably won't come on, but it sounded like he was going to. We didn't say anything. We didn't really talk about it. I did hear my friend that I'm closer to that was on his team. At one point, it had nothing to do with the podcast. It had nothing to do with me. I'm just sitting at my own little table waiting on my turn to bowl, and I hear him behind me talking, and the guy that I know is straight, and he's like, dude, do you see that girl's ass over there? And the gay throuple guy was just like, yeah, it doesn't do anything for me. He's like, you don't ever miss sticking your head between a pair of boobies and just going to town.
No, I don't get the appeal of boobs at all. We've talked about this before on the podcast. It's literal lumps of fat. That, I wish it was sexy to have a muffin top, and that was where guys are like, check out her muffin top.
By the way, some people like that. If it's big enough, you can probably use it for pleasure.
Let's thank our sponsors, our presenting sponsors at Tallent Co Real Estate. They are your go-to when it comes to Northern Colorado real estate. You got any questions? Maybe you just want to be like, I don't have time for this. I don't know what to do. I'm not good at talking to people. You handle it. She'll take care of you. She will take care of you. You'll feel like she's like a personal assistant, kind of, but she'll make sure that you get what you want.
That's good.
You got anything else to add to that?
No, you said it all.
I really do think I did. Just go to homeandnoco.com. That's homeandnoco.com. Reach out to our friend Amy if you're looking to buy or sell your home. So
you get mad at me when I don't chime in on these, but you don't give me a chance to. You say everything there is, and then you expect me to say something magic. Like, got nothing. You rob my thunder, and then you get mad at me for saying nothing. Amy's great. That's all that
I
needs
already
to be
said
said.
that.
If you're, well, that's true.
Why
if
are
you're
you repeating
selling
the
your
stuff
house,
I
you know
say?
who to use now. Okay, all right, move on.
Moving on. So I'm just fascinated by this because here's this weird theory that I have, okay? And my weird theory is that Taylor Swift, we can all agree, is the most popular human being walking the face of the earth, right? And I think if we did a poll, it'd be 50-50 with people picking her over Jesus. If they were like, who is more? Yeah, I know, Shawn, you're looking at me like, what? But you know that it is true. Some people see Taylor Swift as saintly, and they're crazy for her. But I
Yeah, which
have
is
this
weird to me.
theory.
I mean, I get people like having celebrity obsessions, but that one just doesn't. I don't get it. But yeah, continue on.
Well, but here's my theory, and I think that we have seen it time and time again. It's where we love as a society to build people up on these pillars and be like, look at how this person is amazing and he's so lovable, or she's so wonderful, or so kind, and charity, and and then slowly, for some reason, the tides turn. And I'm starting to see with this new album more and more kind of negative stuff that's planted out into the internet, where it's like, hey, yeah, I mean, like, maybe you're not a fan of Taylor Swift.
I'm
I
not
tried.
a fan. I'm not a not fan. I'm not a hater. I'm just a not a. I don't get it.
Yeah.
Person.
I was talking like to the audience. So
Oh,
maybe you're
well, the audience doesn't get to speak back. Only I do. So.
okay. So, but maybe you're not a fan of Taylor Swift, but
But
I
I'm not
did.
a fan. I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
Okay. Shawn's a Swiftie. I listened over the weekend to her new album, The Tortured Poets Department.
The whole
And I
thing?
have to say, 31 songs.
Did you get through it all?
No, because I just kept skipping Alexa because I'd get halfway through and be like, well, wait, is she running in a meadow in this one? Or was she riding a white horse in this one? Or was it the same one? I can't keep these together. So that's kind of a lot of criticism that I'm seeing is a lot of her music is kind of like, damn, that last song sounded like the next song. Okay, so that's some of the things that I'm seeing with Taylor Swift. Now, I love Taylor Swift. I think she's so cute, and I think she's such a good role model. And she seems like,
Stop. Hold on there for a second. Is she a good role model though? Because I actually saw a stat, and I had it pulled up even without you knowing that, even without me knowing you were going to talk about Taylor Swift. It says her new album has 5,600% more profanity than her first album, and there's people fighting over it because they're like, she should be a role model, and she's cussing a lot, and she's saying a lot of bad things, and she's doing a lot of bad things, and there's people that are like, well, she didn't make this music for your 7-year-old.
yeah, well, listen, people are always going to be mad no matter what you do. I mean, she could record an album in every language and people will still find ways to bitch about her. You know what I mean? Like, it just is what it is. But I'm just saying that I'm seeing these little things kind of here and there, because for a long time, especially in the fall where she started dating the football player Travis Kelce, and they were just like this golden couple. She sweeps the Grammys. He wins the Super Bowl all in one weekend. I mean, we're lucky if we go to the Olive Garden and Home Depot in one weekend, but these two are going above and beyond. but I'm seeing a lot of kind of like backlash. I'm also seeing backlash because she wrote this song, and apparently it's about Kim Kardashian, and people are kind of like, how many songs are you going to write about the same things? I had also read.
Why do they have beef, by the way? I don't know the story. I don't know the backstory as to why they have beef. I
Oh
know
my
that
God.
Taylor
See,
talks shit in a lot of songs, but I don't understand why.
okay, so I'm so sorry if you don't like Taylor Swift, because we won't talk about this the whole time. Let me just give
We
Shawn
might.
a quick backstory.
There's probably a lot of people who don't know either. Like, why she keep doing this?
So Taylor Swift, you know, she won that MTV award and she was up accepting it. And then we all know Kanye West went up on stage and was like, yo, Beyonce had the best album of the year. And it really was like a shitty thing to do.
Yes.
So there was kind of like that weirdness there already. So then a couple years go down the road and Kanye West wants to sing a song and he wants to mention Taylor. And so she is, he recorded the phone call and he's like, listen, in this song, I want to say I made that bitch famous. And I just want to make sure you're okay with it. And apparently she said, yeah, that's fine. I mean, I don't love it, but, and so he releases the song. Taylor Swift comes out and says, I never agreed to be called a bitch. And all of a sudden it's leaked, that recorded phone call where she did agree. And then Taylor Swift people came back and said they totally doctored the phone call.
That's
and
cool. This is all Kanye West stuff. How does that have anything to do with Kim?
Well, because Kim kind of stood by her man on a lot of this shit. And she was like, you know, Taylor Swift sucks and she needs to get over it. And I've, you know, and I don't know. So what I'm seeing again is a lot of like, why are we singing about the same people? Like, if you're in a relationship and you're really happy, and I totally understand writing songs about, but she wrote, I guess on this album, and don't quote me because I'm not a Swiftie, but I'm pretty sure I read that 6 of the 31 songs on the album is about a guy she dated named Matt Healy. And I think they dated for like 3 weeks. Okay, 3 weeks. And then all of a sudden she's writing 6 songs and people are like, well, this is weird. It's just, I don't know. Also, I kind of read a negative article and she was talking about how she's an icon. Like, just, it is what it is, everybody. And she's right. She probably is right. But I'm kind of like, damn, did you kind of lose that grounding? Also, another thing that I think was against her and doesn't look good. It's not a good look, I think. And I'm sorry to piss people off, but in my opinion, it's not a good look to be friends with Brittany Mahomes.
Why?
I think she's a bitch.
Huh?
I just do.
I don't know her.
And so I'm just kind of like,
I think she's annoying, and so is Patrick Mahomes' brother when they do their TikTok dances and stuff on the sidelines of football games. But that is the era that we live in.
Listen, I shouldn't say she's a bitch because I've never met her before. But just from the things that I've seen, like actual videos of her. Have you seen that video of Patrick Mahomes' brothers trying to get into this club? And they're like, no, you can't. And it pans over to Brittany Mahomes and she's like, not my problem. Bye. And like laughing at him. And it's just kind of like, why are you hanging out with the Mean Girls now, Taylor? That was like not the thing. And so that's just something that I've been kind of keeping my eye on, Shawn, to keep you updated.
Well, thank you for keeping me updated on pop culture. There's clearly a lot of people that like it. It's already like had the biggest opening 2 weeks or however long it's been out in the history of music, and it's gigantic, and there's a lot of people who love Taylor.
But you know, this would not be the first time that my theory is proven true, because look back, my theory that we love people. They can do no wrong until they start. And until they start doing wrong in people's eyes, okay? And then we start picking these people apart that we built up, and we just start picking them apart slowly. Like, I bring to you Ellen.
Yeah, but Taylor Swift's PR team is too good. We've talked about her PR team before, and they scrub everything. They are.
Yeah, but I think that she's also a firecracker, and she's going to say what she wants to say, whether.
I think she's a conformer is what I think she is. She conforms to the people that are around her. She always has like these different eras that she have. has, you can look at who she was hanging out with or who she was dating, and they kind of reflect that person that she was around. And this era with Travis
Oh.
Kelce is very brash and more firecracker because that's how he is. That's why there's so
Yeah.
much cussing on the album. Because I don't know if you've ever listened to his podcast, Don't Leave Ours for His, but he cusses a lot more than we do. And now all of a sudden she's cussing, and it's just like she seems to be one of those people that's going to kind of follow and mirror the person that she's with. So watch for her to be more like Travis Kelce in the coming years and however long she's with him.
Well, and not to go back to the whole
And he's a prick, by the way.
Travis
He's a
Kelce.
douchebag, not just because he plays for the Chiefs and I'm a Bronco fan, but he just the way that he carries himself on a football field is annoying to watch.
I'm just
Great
going to
football
tell
player,
you something.
douchebag.
I'm going to tell you something that I remember back when he did a reality show and
You told
he
me
was
this
on
before.
E and
Yeah.
he was just such an asshole to these women. And that's, I'm just like,
That's really him, I think. He's an
oh my
arrogant prick.
God, you're awful.
But then his brother, Jason, who just retired, is like the most down to earth, like seems to be humble dude ever. I kind of wish that he just
Well,
whooped
yeah,
his
but
ass.
Ryan was telling me that his brother helped him kind of like get your shit together and stop being an idiot and doing these dumb things and kind of tamed him. Also, you got to know once Taylor Swift enters the picture, you now have a complete team that is making sure you are doing the exact same, you guys are on the same wavelength on everything.
Mhm.
It would be overwhelming, but I think that Travis Kelce's kind of like an attention whore. And so I think that he is all in it.
Oh, for sure. He loves it. I mean, his stock, he was probably, I would say, B level football player. You got the A's and the A pluses, like the Patrick Mahomeses of the world. He was like a B level guy, but football fans knew who he was. And even some people outside of like diehard football fans knew who Travis Kelce was, but it wasn't like he was a pop culture icon. And then all of a sudden, yeah, there's Taylor, and it's just like, bam, your star has,
and your life
the
is
most famous.
never the
He's
same
not just,
again.
yeah, he's an A plus guy. He's the top tier guy now.
Just because he's dating someone. I don't know. It's so weird. And I was trying to think of like other times in history. I mean, I guess the Beatles there was Beatlemania. Is that the same as the Taylor Swift mania?
Maybe it's different. It's different.
I don't know.
It's a different era, and it's happened weird for Taylor. I mean, she played the Greeley Stampede. It's not like
I
she was
know.
she was an instant superstar. She was playing my little hometown, a little rodeo. It's been a slow rise, and then it got like really big, and then it kind of came down for a while, and now it's gigantic and bigger than it's ever been before. It's weird. The one thing that I really wonder in this whole thing, though, is like you look at Travis Kelce and you follow his mannerisms and who he is, and you can kind of get a clear picture. He doesn't seem like the kind of guy that would listen to a sappy pop album, most likely, and now he's forced to listen to 31 songs that we would skip through, probably 27 of them, and he has to listen to it over and over and over again. And I wonder when he's listening to it if he's just like, shit, this sucks.
I wrote a song about a creek.
Yeah, this is not
running barefoot.
Like he seems like the type of guy. Yeah, he's gonna listen to Drake and like some sort of like superstar hip hop
like,
artist.
babe,
and
get me a brewski.
now he's got to listen to Taylor. Have fun with that, bud. Hopefully the blowjobs are good.
I think that that's disgusting, but I think that there is. I think they're going to get married. I think they're going to go all the way. But to go back to Ellen, well, shut up. To go back to Ellen, the thing about Ellen was she was built up so much. Everybody loved her. She was perfect. She was kind. She was like, it was redemption, and we were all so excited, and she was joyous. And then what sucks is you start figuring out that they're actually giant assholes. And she came out she's doing a Netflix special, and they kind of released some of that, and where she said, I got thrown out of Hollywood for being mean. And I'm like, damn. Yeah, but you know what? That's kind of the consequence. If you treat people terribly, there's a good chance that you're probably going to get called on your shit at some point, and people are going to say enough is enough is enough.
I wonder what makes people feel like they should act like that, or that they can act like that. I wonder, is it the fame where they like that before they were famous, and then
How could you
Or
be like that before you're famous? You couldn't. It
I
would
do
make
know
no
some mean
sense.
people. I know some mean people that
Oh,
are
well, yeah,
famous.
that's true. Okay, go ahead.
Like, it just is weird to me that like, you feel okay after you treat somebody like that, because you know me, and I know that I'm the opposite to a fault, but, like, if I am even if I feel like I was even just a touch mean and it may have crossed
Come
any
off
sort of line,
wrong?
yeah, it bugs me for days at a time. So if you purposely be mean to somebody and you're, like,
No.
total bitch mode, it just it I can't comprehend that.
Well, yeah, so apparently that's like a major, major issue.
Oh, there's a lot
And
of people doing it?
well, I don't know. I mean, yeah, I'm sure. I mean, some people see, the thing about Ellen is that was sneaky. I was like, I kind of feel like maybe this is a facade, but then there's a part of me that's like, no, I want to believe in magic. And it was a facade. And yeah, she ended up getting her ass kicked out of the industry. And her Netflix special is coming out in the fall where she talks all about it. But she says, I was mean.
Hmm.
But she, like, kinda it seems like she kinda defends it, like, "Toughen the fuck up. I was mean. Everyone else is mean in Hollywood."
I mean,
And
I've
I'm
had
like,
mean
"Oh my
bosses.
god. No, 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 no. That's not how it has to be because she was in a position of power, and she could have very well gone the other way. She
Yeah, but
could have. She had a choice."
there's been bosses that we've had and people may have had that they're like, you're in a position of power too. And there's no reason to be mean to me and treat me like shit and belittle me. And you do it anyways. And this is real life people. This isn't Hollywood people. And but why? Like, you don't accomplish more by doing it. I think it is a power thing. The more I think about it, like, that's exactly what it is. It's a flex. I'm
Yeah.
above you, and I'm going to show you that I'm the boss.
Yeah, and it's really sad. It's so sad. And like you said, Sean, we've seen it so many times. I'm sure everyone in their career at one point or another has seen this happen. But um, I don't know. I'm totally turned off to Ellen. You know who else I'm totally turned off to? Oprah. Like,
What she
good
do?
God. She's just it's again, we build people up as a society as like she's got the number one show on TV. She's breaking boundaries. Everyone's cheering her on and then something happens, something snaps and people change the way they look at it. And to go even further back, this is embarrassing that I know it, but the Bee Gees, it's my favorite band
Yeah,
of all time.
they were dicks.
No, but what I'm saying is, again, and when the movie Saturday Night Fever came out, the you couldn't keep the albums on the shelf. They were the most famous band in the world. And people then it turned where it was like anti-disco and these guys are losers
Well, yeah,
and
there's always that level of fame too. You got to be cognizant of is if you get too cool, at some
yeah.
point it's going to come crashing down, and that's probably going to happen for Taylor. The only thing with Taylor is that it's not that far outside of any box. Like the Bee Gees, for instance,
Yeah.
disco was like nothing anyone had ever heard before, and so it was easy to make fun of it and to pick at it. And like they had that baseball game where they burned all the disco records in the middle of the baseball field
Yeah.
in the disco era. It would be hard to do that with Taylor because she doesn't do anything that's so outlandish that makes people like hate. But maybe,
That's
you know,
true.
I worry about in like the country music world because that's where I come from. I worry about guys like Jelly Roll because that's really far outside the box. Like I can see that becoming the modern day Billy Ray Cyrus, where
Oh,
people make fun of it
shoot.
so hard because of the way he looks, and he's got tattoos on his face, and he's got a mullet, and he's 700 pounds, and it's
No,
not
but I
really
think
country music. Like it could come crashing down on him hard.
I don't think it will. I think
I
that
hope
he
it
is.
doesn't because he's a good human.
Yeah, I think he's a good human being. I think he's insanely talented. Billy Ray Cyrus had one song that was
No,
like
he
poppy,
didn't.
like the Macarena.
Yes, that was the problem, was that's the song that made him famous. But if you go back and listen, and people can make fun of me for this if they want, but that first Billy Ray Cyrus album that had the Achy Breaky Heart on it was it was so good. The album's called Some Gave All, and first of all, Some Gave All, the
That is a
album,
good song.
yeah, it's a great song, and there's a couple of other songs on there that are really, really good too. And I think that it was the way that he carried himself
That
that
kind
made
of
it.
made him douchey.
Well, yeah, he was wearing the skinny jeans for the first time
Okay.
in country
Can we have an
music,
honest
and
conversation
the
right now?
white sneakers and the wife beater
Okay.
and the
Yeah.
mullet.
Super douchey. How would that be any different than Florida Georgia Line
Oh,
guys?
we'll probably look back one day and think that bro country Florida Georgia Line was douche.
Yeah.
But what's happening right now, that's what I'm getting at. That was the Florida Georgia Line heyday was now 10, 15 years ago.
Yeah.
And so we're going to get to the point where, yeah, that looking back at that, it was douchey. And that was that era's douchebag moment. But right now, that's what I'm like, what is that now?
What is the douchey thing right
That we're going
now?
to look back on in 10 or 15, 20 years and be like, man, in 2024, that was the douchey moment. I can't believe that we were all obsessed with that. And that's where I'm afraid that it could be Jelly Roll. It could be, maybe it's Morgan Wallen, but his music is too good.
And he just doesn't care. And that's being really cocky when you're faced with that much jail time. That's being cocky.
Yeah, I was talking to some of his people, like people that I can't name.
Ooh,
He's probably
your
going to be
people.
fine. He
Of
played at
course he's
Stagecoach
gonna be
this last
fine.
weekend. He played at Stagecoach. Well, you want to know why he's going to be fine? You know how he's going to get off of this whole thing?
How?
He threw a chair off of a 6-story building and it landed within 3 feet of a cop, right? He's going to tell the people that he looked before he threw the chair. So he didn't throw the chair blindly, not knowing what it could hit. He looked, threw the chair, and made sure it wasn't going to hit anything.
So
And there's no way to
essentially, he's
prove that.
going to
He's going to
most
say,
likely lie. He's going to lie to
who knows?
get.
Maybe he did look.
Okay, and listen, maybe he did look. I was not there that night, but if I'm like a detective and if I'm putting this case together and you're drunk and you're throwing chairs around, I
He said he was
highly.
drunk.
He was drinking like in videos before.
He was.
Yes, he
And
was wasted.
you can prove that he had alcohol in that
Oh,
cup.
here I go. Listen,
This
I'm
is a
not a
court of law, Sadie.
detective.
In the court of law, you have to be able to prove anything that you say. And if you
Okay,
cannot
don't
prove it,
hire me as your
if you
lawyer,
can't
Morgan
prove it
Wall.
beyond well, this is how people get off of shit. So this is a good lesson for you in the OJ thing that you think that was such a travesty. You have to prove with beyond a shadow of a doubt that they did this. You have to be able
There
to
has
prove
to
it.
be cameras. So you're
Cool.
but here's what
He's
sucks.
got a cup. You can't prove that there's booze in it.
You're right, Shawn. I don't know. I'm not a lawyer.
You're the
Why
one
do you
telling
yell
me
at
that
me
he was
every day?
wasted.
I just think if you're asking me and
Sounds
who's
like
even
you just want him to get his dick slapped.
no, I want you to get your dick slapped. If I were anywhere near you, I'd give you a little tap. No, I don't know what's going to happen with him, but listen, I guess he's going to get off. Did you hear that Winona Judd's daughter
Yeah,
was
she was a prostitute.
arrested? Yes, and her mom, her ass is still in jail. Never
Is she?
posted bail. She is
How do you do
still
that?
in jail.
I don't read the story much, but if you got a mom like Winona, I don't care if it's like Winona or anybody. Winona has a lot of money, I have to assume, because she's
Yeah, but
got
here's
a
the
lot of hit
thing.
records. Like before I'm going to start selling my body, I'm going to call up my rich mom and I'm going to be like, "Hey, I got nothing left. And my next resort is to sell my coochie to some random dude on Colfax. Can you give me a couple $100? I bet that you probably get some help from your rich mama."
I don't know. I think that she might have been into drugs or something. From what it seems like in all the articles that I'm reading, it seems like Winona has hit the wall where she is like, I'm done. I'm done. I don't think you leave your children in jail unless you are so exasperated, you're worried about their well-being, or you're just tired of bailing them out.
She's been bailed out before?
I don't know. I haven't read too far into it, but every day there's an update. It's like she's still been not bailed out by Winona. And I'm kind of like, you know what? That hard parenting. I mean, go get him, Noner. But
I
we'll
would
see what
probably,
happens.
honestly, thinking about a situation like that, if my parent or my kids really messed up, like bad, I'd probably let them sit in jail for a little while too. Like, I'm not just going to pull them out and let them go back on the streets to do bad things. Like, yeah, you do need to learn a lesson. I'm here for you. I love you. I got your back, but you did something really bad. And when you do something really bad, you have to have consequences. And that's the consequence. Now get your shit together. come out and I'll help you out. But you get back in there, I'm not gonna bail you out again. Especially in like a rich person
So
situation.
wait, you
I feel
would
like
bail
do have
them
to
out?
No, you have to set a precedence because they're just gonna keep having like my
Yeah.
mom's got $1.5 million. She's gonna take care of me. I can do whatever I
Yeah.
want. You have to set a precedence. It's like, no, you're gonna if you get in trouble, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean I don't love you, but you're still gonna pay the price.
I think that's what Winona is doing, and I'm, like, insanely impressed and inspired by her, because I do think that I did read that her daughter has been arrested before,
Oh, okay.
and so I'm sure maybe Winona just hit the wall where she's like, "You're not learning, and so now you're gonna have to sit in the cold jail, so maybe that'll wake you up to it," and a lot of times in parenting, that's so hard to do, but you have to do it, but it's so hard to do, to know that they are going to fail, and you just have to be there and
I get in
stand by
trouble.
and watch.
I get in trouble by my wife every night. Probably four nights a week at least out of 7.
Mhm.
Because Boone won't eat his dinner and he loves dessert. And I'll be the weak one that's always like, all right, you tried to eat your dinner. And
No.
that mac and cheese wasn't that good tonight. And so here's your ice cream cone, buddy. And so I probably would have trouble if my kid was in jail, not bailing them out. Truth be told.
You would totally be there if your kid got her. I don't even know what I would do. Maybe I would panic and go and get my child out.
The first
And
time, after 3 or 4 times, yeah,
you
at
would
some
have
point,
to
it
be
would
like,
become a
you're
thing.
not learning. And at this point, it's getting like insanely dangerous. Prostitution is that, I
Yeah.
mean,
I don't want herpes in my house because that you could transfer it on toilet seats, and if you go poop on my toilet and then I go and I get a herpes because you were being a whore, then that's gonna be a problem.
well, listen, we'd like to thank everyone for listening. We just keep nailing it out and knocking these shows out of the park. We want to really thank our sponsors. Our show sponsor is, of course, Tallent Co. Real Estate. And then we've got another amazing sponsor in Cristiana Salon and Spa. We are so grateful because we are able to do this every day, which I tell people it's like 30 minutes where I just laugh. I go into like this little corner and we just laugh about everything. Such a gift. So thank you to our sponsors. And Shawn gets annoyed at me every day for saying this, but be sure to subscribe on the YouTube channel so you can see the episodes with bonus content, and be sure to do automatic download. So it
Well,
just
and here's the other thing
does
that
it
you
for
can
you.
do too, because people know to do those things because you tell them every day. But the thing that we don't always tell people, and there was a dude who asked me this weekend, I had 6 or 7 people that came up and told me that they were listening to the podcast when I was around other humans this weekend at this
Aw.
bowling tournament. And there was one guy that was like, hey, it's so good. How can I help it grow? And it just instantly thought, like, tell your friends about it. Tell other people who you think would get this kind of humor and this kind of what we really try to do with this show is just be normal people. Like, this is who we actually
And
are.
sometimes we
there's a lot
sound
of it.
so bad, but we agreed we were going to be honest at all times, even with the ugly stuff.
Just be normal people. And there's a lot of normal people out there. So if you have friends that are normal people that would get a kick out of just listening to other normal people talk, share it with them, tell them about it, share it on social media, whatever you can do. That helps this whole thing grow. So thank you.
Because the ultimate goal is to take this to an hour a day, and
Nope, that's not the ultimate goal.
Shawn could
The
just
ultimate
get
goal,
rid of some of these
the ultimate goal
extra.
is to make Ellen money so that I can start treating everybody like shit. All right, bye.
You're gross. Goodbye.